She not liking her hair.
I see myself
And
on the video and then I see myself here. No, no.
it is what it is. It is what it is. We show when you show up and you're
No, but
present.
I thought it looked cute because it looked cute all the time, but not on
It
camera.
it it
I'm not
looked
gonna be
fine.
nasty on camera.
It looked fine. It looks fine.
Naturally.
All right.
You gonna have
All right.
your people. Where is Denise?
Yeah, it looks fine.
No, it's got a thing. But go ahead. Let's start the conversation.
We already started the conversation.
Right.
So
Conversation
we're
started.
going to be about how to tell if someone's telling the truth or not telling the truth, or
No, not necessarily. I mean, just you know,
how do you filter?
I don't know. I don't necessarily know that has to be like the focus. I mean, it's in the conversation that we're having.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're just
I
talking.
I I think we were talking about a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
the media, the news, how we've been
Right.
handling the news, how we've been handling ourselves. I mean, even your hair,
Right.
Denise. I mean, just showing up. What's I mean, just life, right? So there's so many.
Right.
I guess decisions, right? So all these decisions that we make are the things that help us in our lives. So
Right.
so when you show up there, I mean, but when you wake up in the morning, by the time you get to work, you've already made hundreds of decisions,
Yeah.
Right.
right? And so I guess maybe the question, and just piggybacking off everything that we've been talking about, is how do you go about making those decisions? I mean, some of them we don't even know that we've made, because we made them before,
Right.
and we keep making the same decision, and now that's part of our routine. That's part of the habits that we were talking about last
Yep.
time.
Right.
Yes.
But then there are active things that we've got to do. Like me, like I was saying earlier, I made a decision. Well, our family made a conscious decision over a year ago to go on a news fast. We weren't going to watch this, and I don't want to call it a fast, but we decided we're not watching the news
Watching.
because it was causing a lot of stuff. I mean, my son Blake, I mean, he was into this stuff. I mean, okay, what's going on CNN? What's going on? What are they talking about?
Right.
And so we decided to stop. Now, Charmaine and Blake have gone back to, because being in news and watching the news and so forth. But I decided consciously that I was not going to do that, because for me, it didn't make sense to spend my time there. I could control better when I got print media, or when I say print, digital print media.
Yeah.
I could control how I watch it, how I consume it, how much time I
Right.
spent with it.
Right. Right.
So that worked for me. So
Yeah, I
so
mean,
that
I'm the same way. I mentioned before, I don't watch it at all. I get it from work. or, or whoever is passing, whoever I'm talking to, they may say, "Did you hear what
Exactly.
happened?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, what happened?" I
uh-huh.
prefer
Right.
to get it that way and just have little blips every now and again, and then just stuff just filtered into me, and
Part of, yeah.
I can't. It's just too much.
Right,
So
right.
You say
But
you
how
pick
how
and
do you
choose.
how do you validate though the things that people are telling you?
I go
oh,
to
every now and again
YouTube
it'll pop up
or
on the
Google
feed. I'm
it.
like, oh, that's what they were talking about.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah. You go
okay.
You
research
know,
it
or if
afterwards.
there's
If
more
you
than
didn't hear
one
about it.
person telling me, then it must be valid.
Right.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so I mean, yes, I might get it from. I'll go look up maybe something that sounds like really crazy that I really need to know about. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, I just get it from the people that I speak to.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you get your kind of social stuff from them. How about like factual news?
So explain factual news.
Well, I mean, so people like we were just talking about the whole Johnny Depp stuff, right? So we'll come back to that. But I don't know, something happened in California, for instance,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right.
Do you just use what people are telling you for that, or do you say, okay, let me go look up and read what actually happened there, or
Right.
something's going on in Washington?
Right. So that's why I said some things that, I'm like, okay, I need to go look into this. I would then go look into those type of things. I'll put up on the internet or
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. Always have everything, so I will go and look for it, if it's
Mm-hmm.
something I feel I really need to pay attention to. But
Right.
other than that, I don't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
How about you, Denise?
Well, like I said before, that's what I do. If I hear it, I automatically Google it
Mm-hmm.
or try to, go on YouTube and see exactly what's being said, as opposed to, because sometimes you can't hold a conversation if you really don't know what's going on.
Right.
So I go and I look it up and then go, oh, okay, fine. I see what you're talking about. Well, now I start a conversation. Well, what do you think? Why do you think this happened, and so forth, like that. It's like with the Buffalo incident,
Mhm.
with the
Right.
shooting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, mhm.
Yeah. One of the reasons that I watch the news, or not watch, but one of the reasons I go and I look things up is in my line of work. In order to connect with people, with patients, you've got to be able to go with them where they go in terms of conversation.
Right.
And so, to remain informed for one, and then to be able to go with people where they go, so that I can connect with them, and because if I don't connect with them, treating them becomes difficult. And so, yeah, so having, I guess, kind of a balance, which begs the question: social media, right? And which is, I don't think those two words shouldn't go together. But social media, this whole idea of connect, I mean, where does that fit in, or where should it fit in our everyday life?
Where
That's kind of
should it
hard to
be?
say because it
Right,
kind of
because now it's
infiltrates
ingrained in our lives,
everything.
right? I didn't hear what she said. I'm sorry.
I said that is kind of hard to say where it fits because it has taken over everything.
Mm.
It's pretty much
Right.
everywhere. So how do you find some place that it fits? It's kind of hard to give it a
Because it
spot.
just automatically fits at this time. Like every time you turn around, as you said, if we want to find something out, we go to social media, YouTube, go to
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. It's
Right.
just everywhere. We go to Twitter, we go to wherever to find this information out, and then it comes to you anyway.
Oh,
It
sorry. I don't
does.
mean to. I don't mean to laugh, but let me pause there for a minute. So you know what? We just jump right into the conversation. We didn't even introduce ourselves. We ain't introduced the show. We ain't said hello to nobody.
We said this was gonna be
We just.
Good evening.
fun.
Well,
Hey,
everybody. Hey,
everybody.
guys. Welcome back to the show. This is Into the Woods, and I'm Dwayne.
Denise,
Danita.
I'm having a bad hair day today, guys. But it's okay. We're here to help you help
And
us.
we're so glad that you joined us tonight to find out how we think, what we're thinking about, what we're talking about. And the show is called Into the Woods. And we're hoping that as you listen to us, you learn more about just things in general, life in general, that you can find your way out of the woods. You get that? Into the woods, out of the woods. So, but we kind of jumped right into the conversation. So if you're joining
Yeah.
us, this is supposed to be at the beginning of the show, but here it is, right here in the middle. But into the woods. Maybe I'll clip that out and put it and move it to the top, so we can, so we can say hi. Yeah. But anyway, so we're talking social media. Let's just jump back to the conversation. So social
Right.
media. So Danita, you were saying that it's hard to figure out because everything is social media now.
Right, right. Denise pointed out all the different platforms. You got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got Snapchat, you have what else they have? Instagram, you got TikTok, you got so
Everything.
LinkedIn,
much. Say again?
Yeah.
LinkedIn,
LinkedIn, but
LinkedIn. Exactly.
I
Yeah.
thought LinkedIn you just put resumes on it. Now it's social media too.
social media is social media.
Yeah.
And then so if I go, for instance, if I go to Oh, and by the way, guys, so you're already on our channel, but like the video, like this video, go back and watch the previous videos and share it with your family, share it with your friends. So when I go to, like for instance, our last video, and I click on it, and I'm gonna do it so it doesn't. Let me mute it so it doesn't talk. And I go to hit the share button, right, on the video. Let me do that real quick so I can just tell you. So when I hit the share button, what comes up is a list of places that I can share. Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is Into the Woods. All right, so let me do that again. All right. So there are a bunch of things that I can share to. So I could share to Facebook. I can share to Twitter, like Denise said. I can share through WhatsApp. I can share, of course, through email. And then there's this thing called Talk. There's Reddit. There's
So many.
Pinterest. There's Blogger. There's Skyrock. There's Mix. There's Go. I mean, and there's just a list and list, and it keeps going on and on.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
many.
and there are platforms that I don't even know about, right? They haven't even heard about. For instance, Esmond, our cousin, does he's a DJ, right? And so he does music. So he has a channel on one of these places that he keeps trying to tell me to put our show, which I haven't done yet. so keep an eye out for that as well. But there are game platforms. There are just picture platforms. There's music platforms. It's huge. So this whole social media, it is ubiquitous, right? So everywhere is that word, ubiquitous. But back to your question or comment, Danita, where should it be? Don't we have to decide though?
Well, we do decide, but if you question, which was the first question, like where do you get your information from? I think that was the question. And
Mm-hmm.
we said social media, but it's everywhere. So you can pick whichever one you want to go to and find out whatever information you're looking for.
Right, right. And then I think the follow-up question was, where does it fit? Where should it fit? Where does it fit and where should it fit? Denise, go ahead.
Right. Well, I lost my train of thought right then. But I was going to say something profound.
But guys, honestly, one of the things I have to resist. Oh, go ahead, Denise. Go ahead.
But do we really need social media, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
for those of us who we can date ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
we know there was mail, and we can always
Mail, what's
revert
that?
to that, right? But we have a generation that does not know about mail, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for us older generations, we
Right.
can say we can remove ourselves from social media and we can revert back to let's have that communication within ourselves. Younger
Mm-hmm.
generation need that. So then the question becomes for them, where do they place it? And how do they limit themselves? How much time do they spend with the social media? Because as people would say or said prior to it becoming ubiquitous, right?
Mm-hmm.
We lose connection with people, and that's what's really happening. So now, like, how much time do we spend with it, as
Right.
opposed to where do we place it? How much time do we spend with it?
So a matter of control rather
Right,
than right or wrong.
right.
Right.
Hmm.
Correct.
Okay.
Because as
Interesting.
we're using social media, but
Right now.
we're talking to each other. But social media could also be isolation,
Mm.
right?
How
So,
so?
well, if I'm sitting here and I'm just doing this here because I'm on Facebook, like, oh, look what's happening here. I'm not talking to you, right? So now I'm isolated. I'm
Mm-hmm.
isolating myself and not having a conversation with you. Or I could text, right? But even though I'm texting, you can't hear the intonation of my voice from happy, from sad, or and you just see the words. So
Right.
that's still an isolation. But how we're doing it we're still communicating with each other.
Other.
So
Right.
how much time do we spend with it? What platform do we use so that we don't lose ourselves within this social media?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I started saying that one of the things I had to And once again, I have made some intentional changes for all of this. I recently got back into some social media because I do another channel, another show, and with my business, I needed to be in those spaces. But what I was finding was that just like everybody else, I was getting drawn into, okay, let me check this, let me check that, let me look at this, let me look, right? So what I've done as part of my daily routine, I get up in the morning, I do my renewal, like we talked about before, getting into my daily routine and habit. And immediately after that, I check my social media, right? Because maybe people responded, people said hello. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this show, we love to hear from you. So go ahead and, drop us if you're watching this on the replay. Well, not replay, but if you're watching it, go ahead and send us a message because we love to hear your thoughts. But so are people responding? Did somebody say something to me? And then I try not to watch it again until right before lunch, right? Because I got to do something, once again, business wise. And then when I get home, I look at some stuff and then I post my things and then I go through that process again in the morning. Because if I don't, like all morning, okay, let me see. Okay, I sent this thing. I sent this text. So what did that one say? Oh, that one said, let me respond to them real quick. And when you say real quick, right? It's not real quick. It's not. It's like, oh my God, I just wasted, well, not wasted, but I just spent 30 minutes because all I was going to do was respond to that one message
But you don't even feel the time slipping away.
You get sucked into it. Yes.
You do.
And someone could be standing here talking to you, but you're in social media. And you're just
right, social
in your own little space.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy.
It is.
So going back to history, right? And so our parents, all they had at one time was a letter, right? So you wrote a letter, dear Denise, I am in California now, and I'm visiting, blah, 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 right? It's been pretty good, and I can't wait to get back so I could tell you all the excitement things that I'm seeing, right? You fold it up, you put it in the envelope. Yeah. See, I almost forgot what it was called. Put it in the envelope. You put a stamp on it, you put it in the mailbox, and whoop, then it went off. And so you got it, I don't know, 4 or 5 days later, and you read it.
Yes.
And you wrote back, hey, Dwayne, thank you for writing me. We are fine here in Huntsville. Can't wait for you to come back. Did you know that Danita got a new job and da-da-da-da? And, we're going to have dinner. So let us know when you're going to come so that we can get the family together. And you sent it off. And so we go back. So 3-4 days, right?
Right.
So there was this kind of buffer between stuff. So by the time you got the letter, you said, okay, I'll write back a letter next week. Right. And so you sat down next to you. So if you were gone for a month or 2 months, 3 months or whatever, maybe you wrote 4 times.
Right.
Okay. Unless you were, communicating a lot more than that. And so there's this buffer stuff. And when you're in California and I'm in Huntsville, right, there was not this ready access to the stuff in California. So when you got back, you really filled me in on what was going on in California.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, now when you get back, I was like, hey, where were you? I was in Los Angeles. Hey, did you know that, just north of you, there was this thing going on? You're like, really, man, I didn't even know that. I was right there. But I already know that. That's Phil.
Right.
So I'm telling you stuff. And it's immediate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. So that's what our parents, and then we came along, and so we had internet, and it was a lot faster. People were more connected, and now Blake's group,
right?
Them guys. I mean, I was like, who's ding 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 click click ding ding ding. I was like, who texting you like that? Who is sending you messages like? He's like, oh, that's my crew. Your crew? What? You're 12. What are you all talking about?
Right. Well. Yeah. But for us, it was the phone. So we had the
Yeah, we
phone
have
was the same
fun
thing. The phone was ringing, ringing, ringing.
all the
Call
time.
waiting, and
Hmm.
it's about the same, different platform.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah. They've
different
got
platform.
instant media now.
Yeah,
Instant.
right. And you don't have to be online waiting for the phone. I need the phone back. You just had the phone 5 minutes ago. Can I use the phone now? There's not none of that.
Yeah, yeah,
I was telling Blake, because if you guys know, I'm a comic book person. Well, comic,
yeah, yeah.
and
No,
that's a whole
no.
nother thing, right? Because now they have these NFTs and these digital books and comics and so forth. But I was telling him that when I was growing up, you would get a comic and you'd read the comic and you'd have to wait
Yes.
for the next issue of the comic to come, or you'd
Hmm.
watch a episode on TV and you'd have to wait for the next episode. Now, I mean, that still happens in terms of shows, but he can sit down and watch 6 seasons of whatever, right? He's binging now, right? So he watched six
Right.
seasons. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, day one such and such happened, and then I asked him. He's like, I asked him of the same, hey, what happened in that show? He's like, what show? I said, the show that you started watching 2 days ago. He's like, I'm done
Done,
with that. I'm on to another show. So he watched the whole thing, right?
done.
Like Phineas and Ferb. I remember, this was what 3-4 years ago at the beginning of the
Yeah.
pandemic, probably, or a little earlier. Because he's what 12 now, 13. So anyway, so several years ago, 3-4 years ago, that was his thing. So Phineas and Ferb, they're 23. Was it? What did he used to say? There's 120 this song, 120 days or whatever for summer, and Phineas and Ferb every day were doing some experiment.
Yeah.
And so every day he's watching Phineas because he's going to see what they experiment for tomorrow.
Mhm.
I was like, dude, can you wait, just absorb the experiment from today. Just let that wash over you. He's like, no, I
Yeah.
want to see what it is tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, instant. The instant gratification, that's what we're used to now. Before,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, that buffer, even though you send the mail, right? You still stood there in anticipation that I'm gonna get a letter,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't instant. So you still went on with your life and you did whatever, but now it's instantaneous gratification that we receive
Mm,
these days.
mm.
Well, what problems could that cause now that everything is so instant? You
Ooh,
have
I got
nothing
some
to wait
ideas about that
for.
one. I've
There's
got
no
some ideas.
patience. There's no
What?
patience.
Okay, patience. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
But I think. Okay, so anyway, we're just talking, right? Because
yeah,
people are not
yeah.
gonna like everything we say, but there are things that people in years ago, bygone years did that we don't know about, right?
Explain.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so those people kind of held the aura about them. Oh, that
Uh-huh.
was that was and not that these were bad people. That's not what I'm
Right.
saying. I'm not trying to tarnish them.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like going back to our example, Denise, you're in California. You do something like at 10 o'clock, and like 10:02,
Mhm.
everybody knows. Like somebody click, 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 click. Right, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on social. You're on
Yeah.
Instagram. And it's the ring, ring, ring. Hey, Denise. Hey, what's up, Dwayne? It's like, girl, what you doing? We saw it. We saw this picture on social media. What's going on out there?
Right. Right.
So in some senses we have a lot more information,
Right.
which is good, and we could talk about that, you know. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it's taken away
Private.
some of the polish, taken away some of the glamour, I
Mm.
think, right? From people, because we're right there, right?
Right. There's no
You see,
mystery
you're
about.
living the life of that person, or
Right.
you think you're living the life of that person. You can
Right.
see what they have for breakfast. You can see what they were wearing this morning.
Right.
The fact that they didn't polish their toenails when they went to the store. The
Right.
fact that they didn't comb their hair. Right? There's almost no privacy. Right?
There
As
is
we
no.
as we by the way, put our stuff out on the internet right now, by the way.
Hello, everybody.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Well, hey,
That intrigue,
age.
that intrigue that you're talking, there's no mystery anymore. Everything
Yes.
is just laid out. It
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. Well, I heard that about you yesterday, so I don't know why you trying to tell me today. You know that type of thing. I saw it yesterday, so I was just waiting for you to let me know in
Right.
person. But there's no intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's
Mm-hmm.
no, everybody you just knows everything.
Right. Right. I went to a mixer a networking event last week, and so I was there, and this gal came up to me. She said, "Hey, I recognize you." And I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "You're Dr. Wood." I said, "Yeah." She said, "I watch you." Like first I didn't know her. She said, "I watch you." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, I watch your show, and I like this." So she's going on, and it turned out that someone else had told her about that show, so she's been watching me, and it was an interesting experience, right?
Mhm.
Now that so I have patients that show up, and they feel like they know me because they've seen me, they've heard me. Before, when someone came to me, they may have had a cousin or a friend tell them about me,
Mhm.
but they had never heard me speak. They don't know what my voice sounds like. They didn't know my quirky laugh or what I looked like. But now they see me and they decide, hey, I want to go I want to see that doctor because of how he is, because I think I can connect with him. And so we're having people now who are, I think there's a benefit to social media if we use it correctly. And I think that's one of the things. But we have to understand also that when we're on social media, right? When you watch somebody on social media, like right now, I've got lights, right? That's making me look good. And, I did my beard and got it all, nice for you guys right now. And so when you see me, if you see me at the store, maybe I just ran out to the store, right? I just threw something on. I needed some milk and I need some eggs, and I just ran to the store. So the danger is that when you see me in real life, you're like, man, that's not the dude. That's not the guy I thought he didn't look like the way I look. Right. I saw, so Doc Rock is a guy, say, Doc, I'm talking about you. So Doc Rock is a guy, I met him. We had a meetup in Hawaii when we were out there. He does a show. And so we come back and he's like, dude, you look better on camera. I was like, gee, thanks, Doc. Thanks. I really appreciate that. But you get the idea that it's almost, even though we want it, and even though there's benefits, it can almost set up this artificial thing between us.
Right.
And when you finally meet that person, you're like, man, that's really not what I expected.
It's like a letdown.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but I look good in person and I look good on
You
camera.
do.
So
I said that before when you
Guys,
were
I'm
saying
just
it.
saying.
I said it, but you can hear it. But it's the truth, guys. It's the truth.
So yeah. Okay. so so right now I'm on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and it takes a lot of time to keep up with all that stuff. What do you guys think in terms of the time that we put into it? I mean, the benefits of it, we talked about it a little bit. There are benefits, there are pros, there are cons. How about the time that we put into, even if we're using it for something good, quote unquote,
Right.
what do you think about the time we put into it?
You have to be committed to it. You have to be committed to want to put in the time.
So you were talking about looking at social media for entertainment or
Or
using the platforms like
making
what
the
we're doing
videos.
now?
Well, I think the platform, right? Using the platform is one thing, but in terms of the amount of time, so when I put time into the platforms to put my content out, I'm expecting people to consume it, right? So in some sense, I really want them spending as much time as they possibly can spend on social media, right?
Right.
Because as a content creator, I want them to watch. Like, so we're doing this show, and as we're talking and putting this out, we want people to watch it,
Right.
and we want them to watch it, and we want them to send to their friends, and we want them to watch it again and again and again. So that's what
Right.
we want. On the flip side, for people who are out there who are living their lives,
Mm-hmm.
what should their kind of thing be in how much time they spend on social media?
Oh. Well, they should watch us.
Right.
And then,
And then, right?
after that, you dwindle. But again, it's all up to the person. Whatever content interests you. Like we had conversations about mindset and different things that'll help you grow. You put that time in because you're going to apply it to yourself. I
Mm-hmm.
don't say that you will sit there and it be all consuming. You watch it and you apply it and you go ahead and live your life, but don't just sit there and just be all social media. Choose what you need for to better yourself, and then go out and apply it.
Well, like Dwayne, he said he gives himself a schedule. You get
Right.
to look at social media for entertainment or work purposes for this amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Go do what you need to do. Right?
Right.
So everybody's looking at social media for one thing or the other. But you need to give yourself a schedule. Hopefully, it's kind of hard because it's addictive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It is hard to do that. But so that you're not just there indefinitely, a schedule would be a great thing to try to. And
Mm-hmm.
what's the content you're going for that
For.
particular day or that particular
Right.
time? What are you
Mm-hmm.
looking for? And then you move from there.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Um. Wow. So addictive. Addictive.
Yes.
I've been on there before, like I said, to go, okay, I'm going to spend a minute doing such and such. And so I went and I responded to a text or a message or DM or whatever from somebody. And then all of a sudden, I find myself, I'm listening to see Steve Harvey. I'm watching, I'm like, how did I get from, and then, I'm listening to Kevin Hart's jokes and then I'm listening to right. I'm like, how did I get from there to here? Like, how did that transition?
Because your
Because
brain moves.
that's not what I went there for.
You
But you
scrolling.
thought of this and you thought of that, and you just your fingers start moving because you'll see one thing and something's on the side, and you're like, okay, when I'm finished, I'm gonna click on that. Okay, oh well, there's something else here. I'm gonna click on that, and you just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys say, addictive. Well, we all wear glasses. Well, I fall asleep with my glasses, and when I wake up, I hit the space bar and I rub my eyes. I adjust my glasses now. I just wake up. I didn't get out the bed. Social media. What's on YouTube? Like, oh, nothing. Take the glasses off. Go back to sleep.
Go back to
This is
sleep.
like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So yes, it's very addictive.
It's addictive. It piques your interest in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things, and sometimes you stumble across things that you didn't even know you were interested in.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
now you have to go searching. Like, okay, that sounded good. So
Mm-hmm.
they said something in this video. So let me go to this other video because it sounds like they
Right.
want to expand on that particular thing. So
Mm-hmm.
Right.
it's just a cascading effect. It
Yeah.
just,
Until you have
I
to
don't know.
make a conscious decision to say, I'm going to close the computer or just fall asleep. But most times you just fall asleep and you wake up and there's still something going.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah.
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 What I love about Instagram is it has you can tell it because it sends me a message that says you've used up your total time on
Oh,
Instagram.
does it?
It's time to log off now. Yeah. So I
Oh,
said I set it
really?
up. I set it up to
Oh,
do
you did.
that.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good thing because you could
Yeah.
be there for forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Right.
And like like you guys said, you don't even know it. It'll be 4 o'clock, and before you know it, it's 8. Like it's 4 hours. Where did it go? You don't
Yeah,
even know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a good place to kind of pivot. But before we do that, once again, guys, if you have not subscribed to our channel, Into the Woods, we are here. So we have these conversations, right? We're talking about life. We are talking about how we think, right? And hopefully you could identify with some of the things that we are saying. You may see yourself in us as we're talking. And the goal is to expand our mind, to expand our experiences so that we can all work on the things that are kind of holding us back. And so, Into the Woods is the show, but our hope is to get you out of the woods, right? As we kind of learn together. So please subscribe, like this video, send it to your families, to your friends, and come on back for the next video. We'll talk about that here as we get to the end of this. So social media. So everything's that's there, right? And one of the reasons that social media is so popular is because we can now see into the lives of so many different people, right? So we got these reality shows, and now we don't even need the reality shows themselves because people are on social media, right?
Right.
And that's what makes it so interesting. And there's so many different things we can talk about social media. One of the big things that's going on right now is the Johnny Depp the trial. So what do you guys think about that? So first of all, why don't one of you guys just take a minute and kind of fill everybody in on what's going on? Who wants to do that? Either of you, yeah. Just a synopsis of what the thing is right now.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Johnny's winning.
Well,
Um,
tell the story first. What happened? Why are they
well, what
even in the
happened? What
media?
has happened is that Amber Heard has um, said that Johnny Depp has been abusing her, but it's he's saying that she's abused him.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in court because she I forgot the word, tarred his name,
Mm-hmm.
defamation of
Defamation, right?
character.
Defamation.
Yeah, and so they're in trial for that.
Right, right. So okay, so there's these people there. So we're in their lives. There we are, right? And so we were talking earlier about, I guess, just kind of the appearance. And once again, we're not making any um, decisions about guilt or innocence, right? So we're talking about how they appear, how their testimonies sound, and what we're seeing, right? Because we're really not getting the full feel, if you will, of
Right,
everything that's going on in the courtroom, right?
Right.
right.
So Denise, what do you think?
Well, as I said before,
Mm-hmm.
I believe Johnny's winning. Some of her testimony is very far fetched, and it doesn't come across believable to me.
Mm-hmm.
So um, I'm pretty much team Johnny.
The team Johnny. Okay. All right. All right. Go Johnny. Go Johnny. All right. Danita.
I'm Team Johnny as well. Some of the things that she's saying, some of the accusations, some of the acts that she actually is saying that he did to her, like
Mm-hmm.
sexual things that he did to her, it doesn't make sense because you were still walking upright. you know, um, using foreign objects and things like that on her. How are you still walking around the next day? It's not possible for you to be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
She just seems, her stories are just like she's telling a story like Little Red Riding Hood went into the woods,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's how her stories are coming across to me, not as though somebody hurt her
Right.
or yeah,
Mhm.
it just sounds like she's making up and grasping for air
All right,
just to try to get something across, and it's not
right.
working.
Make it believable, but it's not.
So
No.
so maybe I mean, is it? And so this question that I asked earlier was: is it possible for someone to be telling the truth, but yet um not sound believable?
Well, here's the problem with her. She's an actress,
Mm-hmm.
right? She's supposed to sell the story. We shouldn't have this issue.
Well,
Right?
what? No, I take exception. I take exception to that. I mean, it's kind of like in my field, right? One of the reasons that it's not recommended that a physician take care of family or take care of themselves is because when you're out there, I can see all the stuff that's in you in your life, right, in terms of disease process. But when it's me, there are all these blind spots that I have, right?
Right.
And I use that as just an example of the fact that when something's going on with you, all of your skills, right? People say, "Oh, she's this great actress," but yet she's telling the story that we don't believe, so she should sell it. Well, it's her. I mean, so she's in the story, so it's hard when it's you to really kind of tell that story. And now I'm not, like I said, I'm not judging whether she's right or wrong, but I'm just saying maybe she can't because she doesn't she is in the story, and so she's trying to tell us now, and it's not believable because her skills, her acting skills, are not in play. This is her life.
But if I know that something has happened to me
Mm-hmm.
based on what I've seen, parts of her testimonies,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I should be able to tell you exactly
Accurately.
what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Something that has been traumatic.
Right.
If a lot might have happened, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if I decide to tell you, well, he threw me on the floor, he did this and this, and I can tell you exactly what happened. She has
Mm-hmm.
gaps. She's unsure. She's like, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he did this or I'm not sure. No, no, dude. I know that you did this to me.
Mm-hmm.
So in that aspect, yeah, it does come across as though she's not being truthful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then it changes every time. It changes every time. Because
Well, yeah,
whatever that's what it is.
right. Well, I mean, going back to the clinical, and I've got to always kind of step back there. So the clinical part of this is that when people are in trauma, when people are in survival mode, when people are in difficult situations, that is something that's actually pretty common, right? That you have these gaps, pieces of time that disappear. I mean, just a lot of different things. So I think, and I don't know if this is going to come out, right? Because I think there are a lot of people out there that are looking at her and looking at him and are having kind of similar ideas, like you guys are saying,
Mhm.
that the defense is going, or well, her team is going to have to somehow convince people that this is the case, that yes, her story may not be all tied up in a nice neat package and bowed, but this is because she's been traumatized, because this has been going on, she's been afraid, she's been stressed, and when you have those emotions and those situations going on, then that causes gaps in your story. So I think if
I've had
they're going
trauma.
to, sorry,
I've had trauma, and I remember
if
exactly what happened.
right. So
So,
so what I'm saying is that if they're going to win, if they're going to overcome that, that's what they've got
Right.
to convince people of.
oh,
Well,
okay.
but I think a lot of people, why it even came here is because she's female. She's a she.
Mm-hmm.
And we are the ones that usually get abused.
Mm-hmm.
So saying that a female is abusing a male in
Mm-hmm.
society it's something that is not heard of.
Right.
So most people would lean towards the woman to say, well, he did do it, which is what happened. He lost a lot of jobs and lost a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's the issue, really, right? Because is she saying this? He's saying that, and now he's proving that that's not the case. He's had other relationships. She's
Right.
not his only relationship. So now you can only hide yourself for what that much until
Mm-hmm.
the real you come out. Along the way, one of those relationships, he had to have done something to at least one or two
Right.
or three. He's had multiple relationships. Now, for her, she's had history of beating up her previous partner.
Mm-hmm.
So now begs the question: who's really doing what? He's
Right.
had all these women, gotten married, and all of them vouch that he's a cool dude. And she has a partner says that she was abusive and had a restraining order. Now, who do you believe?
Right. So there. I mean, when you look at it, it's going to fall down on who can prove
What?
to be more believable.
Right.
Right. So and that's an interesting thing when you look at all of these stories that we sometimes see in the media, in social media, even on TV, right? It's okay, who can prove to be more believable, and yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how this all pans out.
Yeah. Very
I'm
interesting.
gonna go look just now.
I think the real
Yeah, we're gonna
supposed
all get on our social media and find out what happened today, right?
yeah, of course. But I think a verdict should have come out yesterday, so the 19th.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I didn't go on social media today, so I'm not sure what
Well, let's see. We're on the show. Let's find out. No. Let's not do that. We go down a rabbit hole with that.
Right?
yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it
We
after
get
the
on.
show.
We're doing a show. Okay, sorry.
After the show.
Uh, so give us, Danita,
Mm.
your last kind of words on social media and our interaction. How would you advise people to kind of work with social media?
Well, social media is entertaining, is
Mm-hmm.
entertainment. But I think you can go on there to find things that interest you, but limit yourself to those
Mm-hmm.
things. Have time for education, if you want to call it that, and have time for entertainment. But don't sit there all day looking at social media. It's not a good
Right.
thing to
Exactly.
Don't spend your whole time. Okay. Okay. All
No,
right,
no.
Denise.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. But I would say, yeah, limit yourself. But also try to have more personal conversations with people, because I think that's really we're losing that because
Right.
of social media.
Yeah. One of the I did a video for my other channel, and one of the things that I made a point of was to use your car as a university, use your transportation, use your time
Mhm.
to expand yourself. Because remember, the most valuable asset that we each have
That's ourselves.
is ourselves, right?
Mhm.
So if we are going to come out of the woods, like we've been talking about, if we're going to get beyond where we are, if we're going to be unstuck in the things that have happened to us, things in our lives, our ideas, then we've got to be able to expand ourselves, expand our minds.
Right.
Right.
And so I think a part of where social media should fit, and a thing that we should be doing is, yes, using social media, because sometimes it's this mindless thing, right? So we're just scrolling, but use social media to make your asset better, and you are the asset.
Right.
So improve yourself. And so if you're improving yourself, then social media is a perfect place to do that. And be strategic. Don't just let, like I gave you that example where I started doing one thing and I ended up way over here
Yeah.
watching something else.
Right.
Don't let that be your thing, right? So be strategic in how you do it. And maybe we need to, come back at some point and talk about a show about how do you be strategic with social media? How do you do it? Like, Do you like get on all the different platforms? Do you choose a particular one? Do you choose a particular two?
Right.
You know, that might be an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah.
But cool, cool, cool. So
Yes.
that I think that should be our call to action for tonight is pay attention to your social media habits, right? Because we talked about habits in one of our other shows.
Right.
Pay attention to your social media habits and make a decision, make a conscious decision about where social media will fit in your life as you go forward. Now, we're not telling you how to do it, what to do about it, but don't just let it happen to you. Maybe that's the point we should make.
Right.
Don't just let social media take you where it wants you to take you, but you use it for a particular purpose.
Right.
If it's entertainment, education, distraction, all the reasons are good, but don't just let it happen. Decide what you're going to do, and even maybe set up a schedule for yourself on when you're going to do it. So good. Well, guys, we are so happy that you joined us for this show tonight. Once again, if you've not already done so, go back and look at one of our other shows. We're going to put a link to the end of this one, to the show that we did previously. If you've not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Subscribe to the channel, like this show, share it with your family and friends, get them to come on, get them to subscribe. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you will be notified when new videos come out. We try to do this once a week, and we will, if we change that, then we'll let you know. But for now, that is our plan, okay? That you get to come hang out with us for a little while, find out how we think and what makes us tick so that we can come out of the woods. This is Dwayne.
Denise.
And Danita.
And we are the Woods, and this is called Into the Woods. We will see you at the next video. See you later.
Good
Bye
night.
bye.